What if I told you, every time you instantly judge someone in a tense moment, you are actually looking into a mirror, and you don't like what you see? That quick irritation, that sudden disgust, that snap conclusion. It's not about them. It's about a hidden part of you that you push away. Carl Jung called it the shadow. And here's the shocking part. Your relationships, your decisions, even your sense of self are being quietly shaped by this unseen inner force. Most people think self-awareness is about knowing strengths. But what if the real freedom comes from owning your darkness? Neuroscience and depth psychology both point to the same truth. What you repress controls you. In the next few minutes, I will show you exactly how projection works, how to spot your own shadow triggers, and 3 practical exercises you can start tonight to stop auto-judging and start integrating the parts of you that want to be seen. Stay with me, because this will change how you talk, how you decide, and how you love. Think about the last time you snapped at someone, maybe in traffic, maybe in a meeting, maybe with a partner. You told yourself a story about them. They were rude, lazy, selfish. You felt justified. But ask yourself, what if that judgment was not a truth about them? What if it was an arrow pointing straight back at a buried part of you? Jung discovered that we each carry disowned qualities, impulses, fears, desires, that we hide from ourselves because they feel unacceptable. These rejected pieces don't disappear. Instead, they collect energy and then push outward. Projection is the process where we attribute our own unwanted traits to others. It feels like observation, but it's really a misperception. And the consequences are subtle but huge. We create conflict, we shut down intimacy, and worst of all, we never get to know ourselves. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone who judges others for being selfish. They accuse colleagues and friends. They feel morally superior. But beneath that loud condemnation, there might be a scared part that believes asking for help will lead to rejection. So instead of admitting vulnerability, they label others as selfish. Projection protects the wounded part, temporarily. But over time, it ruins trust. Another common pattern is anger. You meet someone who seems aggressive, and you react with fear or hatred. Often the real trigger is an internal aggressor, a piece of you that judges and attacks yourself silently. You see the external aggression like a mirror. You flinch because you recognize the behavior you secretly use. The key is not to deny it. The key is to bring it into awareness. Now, how do you work with the shadow without getting lost in guilt or self-blame? Here are 3 practical steps I use and teach. Simple, immediate, and surprisingly powerful. Step 1. Notice the trigger. The next time you feel a strong reaction, anger, disgust, shame, envy, pause. Don't act. Just name the emotion. Say to yourself quietly, I am feeling anger. I am feeling shame. Naming creates distance. It interrupts automatic projection and gives you a moment of choice. Step 2. Inquire gently. Ask yourself 3 short questions. 1. What in me recognizes this in them? 2. What reaction is this protecting me from feeling? 3. What do I fear will happen if I admit this part of myself? This is not therapy talk. It's simple curiosity. You are looking for the mirror image, For example, if you felt disgust at someone's sloppy habit, ask if there is a part of you that fears appearing messy or out of control. Step 3. Integrate the message. Integration doesn't mean you have to act on the shadow impulse. It means you acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I notice this part of me that judges. I accept that it's here. Then choose a small, safe action that proves you are not controlled by it. If the shadow voice says, I must never need anyone, try asking for a tiny favor. If it says, I am weak, allow yourself a moment of rest. Integration is a practice, one breath at a time, one experiment at a time. Let me give you a real-world mini-case. I once noticed I would get silently irritated whenever a friend canceled plans last minute. I could have blamed them for being unreliable. Instead, I paused and asked the 3 questions. I discovered an inner rule. I must be reliable at all costs to feel worthy. That rule had roots in childhood, but it was driving my judgments. I integrated by saying aloud, I am allowed to be human. Then I sent a message to my friend saying, it's okay, let's reschedule. That tiny step shifted how I felt. The judgment melted and our friendship deepened. Shadow work also helps in decision-making. When you feel stuck choosing between options, check which choice triggers an inner critique. Often the voice that screams about risk is a shadow pushing you toward safety because it fears failure. Naming that fear lets you separate it from rational analysis. You can then ask, is this fear protecting me in a way that's helpful, or is it controlling me from growth? Awareness makes better decisions possible. Here are 3 daily practices to make shadow work concrete. First, the trigger journal. At the end of each day, write down one moment when you reacted strongly. Describe the situation, your immediate judgment, and then write the mirror question. What in me is this pointing to? Do this for 7 days. Patterns will emerge. Second, the empty chair exercise. Sit in a quiet space. Imagine the person who triggers you in one chair and your own shadow part in another. Speak to the shadow part as if it's a child or a critic. Ask why it's upset. Listen. This is a short, safe dialogue that brings unconscious material into language. Third, the ritual of small admissions. Each week, admit one small flaw to someone you trust or to your journal. It could be as simple as, I sometimes avoid asking for help. The act of admission dissolves shame and reduces the shadow's power. You might worry, won't acknowledging the shadow make me dangerous or negative? No, the opposite happens. When we integrate our shadow, we gain choice. We stop being hijacked by unconscious scripts. Shadow integration leads to healthier boundaries, more authentic confidence, and deeper empathy. You're no longer projecting chaos onto the world. You're meeting it inside yourself. Science backs this up. Social psychologists have long shown that projection increases interpersonal conflict and reduces cooperation. Neuroscience reveals that unprocessed emotional responses are faster than conscious thought, which explains why projection feels automatic. The great news is that the brain is plastic. With awareness, the automatic pathways change. You rewire how you respond. Now, a quick guide to spotting 5 common shadow themes and what they usually mask. 1. Contempt or moral superiority often masks insecurity and fear of being judged. 2. Excessive sarcasm or cynicism can mask hurt and disappointment. 3. Perpetual busyness sometimes hides avoidance of intimacy. 4. Perfectionism often hides a fear of failure and a fragile sense of worth. 5. Constant caretaking can hide anger and unmet needs. When you recognize the pattern, compassion becomes a tool for yourself first. Let me give you 3 journaling prompts you can use tonight. 1. When did I last judge someone harshly? And what word would describe my feeling? 2. What childhood rule might be connected to that feeling? 3. What small action could I take to prove that the rule is not absolute? Answering these will create insight you can't get from mere willpower. A caution: shadow work can be intense. Don't force everything at once. Start small. If something feels too heavy, find a therapist or a trusted friend to hold the space. The goal is integration, not self-punishment. Before we wrap up, remember this essential mindset shift. Judgment is not just a social habit. It's data. It tells you where you are disowned. Treat it like a compass, not a verdict. When you hear yourself label someone, think, "This is pointing to me." Then proceed with curiosity. If you want a practical 5-minute routine to anchor this work, try this. Morning, 2 minutes of naming emotions you expect to encounter that day. Midday, 1 minute of checking any strong reactions and naming the emotion. Evening, 5 minutes of writing 1 trigger and 1 integration step. Do this for 21 days and watch patterns shift. Now, if this resonated, do 3 things. 1. Try the trigger journal tonight and leave 1 sentence about your experience in the comments. 2. Share this video with someone who jumps to judgments. They might be grateful and surprised. 3. Subscribe if you want deeper dives into practical psychology and guided exercises. I respond to comments personally, so ask a question or share a moment where you recognized your shadow. I will help you think through it. Remember, the parts of you you deny will run the show until you befriend them. Start small, notice, name, integrate. Your relationships will grow calmer, your decisions will become clearer, and your inner life will feel more honest. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.